We live in an era where booking a doctor's visit, a hairstyling, or a high-stakes business briefing can be executed with a few silent taps on a glass screen, yet the direct phone call remains an indispensable ritual of human connection.
That assumes, of course, that the person on the other end actually answers, which is increasingly rare. I would argue that our reliance on automated scheduling platforms hasn't made scheduling easier. It has simply transferred the administrative friction onto digital interfaces that lack any capacity for nuance.
There is some truth in what you are saying, Thomas, but when you do pick up the receiver, a telephone interaction requires an immediate, real-time calibration of tone that no app can replicate.
Welcome to Late Night Insightful English, designed specifically for C1 and C2 learners who wish to master the finer nuances of high-level communication. Tonight, we are exploring the subtle art of making appointments by phone, an everyday professional transaction that reveals surprisingly deep truths about courtesy, control, and authority.
As the late evening quiet settles over the city and the distant hum of night traffic washes past the window, it feels like the ideal moment to dismantle this deceptively simple task. Why does a 30-second phone call still induce a slight flicker of anxiety, even for seasoned professionals?
Because a live call strips away the safety net of asynchronous editing. When you compose an email, you can draft, delete, and deliberate over every clause. On the phone, your linguistic choices unfold in real time, exposing your underlying level of confidence and poise.
Consider a typical scenario. You need to secure an urgent consultation with a sought-after specialist or a senior executive whose diary is guarded by a formidable gatekeeper. If you lead with tentative, overly apologetic phrasing, you inadvertently signaling that your request is low priority.
Exactly. There is a profound distinction worth making here between being deferential and being polite. Polite communication establishes mutual respect, whereas deferential phrasing surrenders your agency before the conversation has even properly begun.
That argument rests on a particular assumption, namely, that the person managing the diary responds to authority rather than empathy. If I am speaking to an administrative assistant at the end of a long, exhausting day, demanding an immediate slot might backfire completely. A more balanced interpretation would be that authority and warmth must be carefully blended.
Fair point, Laura. The difficulty lies in navigating that delicate boundary between assertiveness and pushiness.
Here is our first golden sentence. The true measure of professional eloquence lies not in demanding immediate compliance, but in navigating administrative constraints with calm, articulate persuasion.
There is an important idea inside that sentence. Notice how it frames persuasion not as a force, but as a steady, structured negotiation.
Let us break this sentence down for advanced shadowing practice. Listen carefully to the rhythm and natural pauses. First thought group. The true measure of professional eloquence lies not in demanding immediate compliance. Repeat that segment, focusing on the strong stress on eloquence and compliance. Second thought group, but in navigating administrative constraints with calm, articulate persuasion. Notice how the voice slightly drops in pitch to convey grounded confidence on calm, articulate persuasion. Now, let us rebuild the complete sentence together. The true measure of professional eloquence lies not in demanding immediate compliance, but in navigating administrative constraints with calm, articulate persuasion.
Excellent. Notice how holding the pitch steady on administrative constraints prevents you from sounding stressed or flustered.
Let us contextualize this with a realistic professional case. Imagine Thomas is trying to book an emergency strategy meeting with a prospective client whose schedule is completely booked for the next month. How do you approach the receptionist without sounding desperate?
If I say, I know he's terribly busy, but is there any tiny chance he could squeeze me in for 5 minutes? I have practically invited a refusal.
Whereas if you reframe the request, I understand his calendar is exceptionally tight this week, but given the time-sensitive nature of the portfolio review, I would appreciate your guidance on how best to secure 20 minutes with him.
That shift in phrasing transforms the receptionist from a gatekeeper into an ally. You are asking for their expertise in solving a scheduling puzzle rather than demanding a concession.
Let us examine some of the precise vocabulary and sophisticated expressions we have used so far. Consider the verb to calibrate. To calibrate your tone means to make precise, subtle adjustments to suit the specific, emotional, or professional atmosphere of the interaction.
Then we have the noun gatekeeper, which refers to someone who controls access to a powerful person or institution. In professional contexts, treating a gatekeeper with genuine professional respect, rather than as a minor hurdle, is a hallmark of emotional intelligence.
We also use the phrase asynchronous editing, borrowing a technical concept to describe communication where responses don't happen simultaneously, giving you time to polish your words unlike a live phone call.
Another crucial expression is to surrender your agency. Agency refers to your power to act independently and make your own decisions. When you speak too apologetically, you yield that leverage unnecessarily.
And finally, consider the phrase administrative friction. This describes the subtle delays, bureaucratic obstacles, and procedural resistance encountered when trying to organize or execute a task.
Moving deeper into the implications of phone interactions, we must address the psychological weight of tone. In a face-to-face encounter, body language carries a vast amount of implicit information. Over the phone, your voice is the sole vector of your presence.
Which means that hesitation markers, vocal fry, or an upward inflection at the end of a statement turning a declaration into a question can inadvertently communicate uncertainty.
I am not entirely persuaded that an upward inflection is always a sign of weakness, Laura. In certain cultural contexts, it serves as an invitation for collaboration rather than a display of insecurity.
That may be true in principle, but in international business contexts, clear, falling intonation at the end of a request usually signals decisive competence.
That brings us neatly to our second key principle: clarity of intent. Before your fingers even dial the number, you ought to have formulated not just your preferred time slot, but two viable alternatives and a clear fallback position.
Here is our second golden sentence.
Effective scheduling requires anticipating resistance, offering flexible alternatives, and framing the requested appointment as a priority of mutual value.
That gives us something practical to carry forward. It emphasizes that a successful call is a collaborative exercise in problem solving.
Let us practice shadowing this second sentence together. We will divide it into three distinct thought groups. First thought group: effective scheduling requires anticipating resistance. Focus on placing a firm, clean stress on anticipating. Second thought group: offering flexible alternatives. Keep the cadence smooth and rhythmic. Third thought group: and framing the requested appointment as a priority of mutual value. Deliver mutual value with a decisive downward tone.
Now, let us combine the full sentence. Effective scheduling requires anticipating resistance, offering flexible alternatives, and framing the requested appointment as a priority of mutual value.
That controlled rhythm instantly establishes authority. If you can deliver that phrase smoothly, you command the conversation without ever sounding aggressive.
Let us pause and offer our listeners a chance to reflect. Consider this question. How do you typically react when an administrative receptionist tells you that no slots are available for the foreseeable future?
Here is a model response at the C1, C2 level. While I respect that the current schedule is fully committed, I would be grateful if you could place me on a priority notification list should a cancellation arise, and perhaps we might tentatively diary a date for next month in the interim.
That response is exceptionally polished because it acknowledges the current reality without abandoning the objective. It secures a safety net while leaving the door open for an earlier resolution.
Let us try another prompt. What language can you deploy when you need to reschedule a previously confirmed appointment without causing offense or appearing unreliable?
A strong model response would be, regrettably, an unforeseen professional obligation has arisen that requires my immediate attention, forcing me to request a postponement of our meeting. I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and hope we can realign our schedules for early next week.
Notice the use of unforeseen professional obligation and realign our schedules. These choices elevate the explanation above a mundane excuse maintaining a high standard of professional decorum.
To apply these insights practically in your daily routine, consider structuring your phone calls using 3 clear phases: the respectful opening that establishes context, the flexible proposal that offers options, and the decisive confirmation that seals the detail.
For instance, instead of asking, "When are you free?" which places the entire cognitive burden of checking a calendar on the other person, offer a structured choice. Would midweek suit you better? Or does an afternoon slot toward the end of the week align more conveniently with your commitments?
That simple technique reduces friction significantly. You are providing a framework within which the other person can easily operate.
As we begin to synthesize our discussion tonight, it becomes clear that making an appointment by phone is far more than a transactional exercise in calendar management. It is a microcosm of professional diplomacy.
We have explored how tone, intonation, and precise vocabulary transform a potentially stressful chore into an opportunity to demonstrate executive presence. While digital booking systems offer convenience, the direct call remains an unmatchable tool for establishing immediate rapport and resolving complex scheduling conflicts.
We may disagree slightly on the extent to which digital tools are replacing human phone interactions, but we certainly agree that when a phone call is necessary, mastering its linguistic subtleties gives you a profound advantage.
As the night deepens and the silence of the hour invites quiet reflection, we leave you with one final question to ponder. The next time you hold a telephone in your hand, will you view it merely as a transmitter of information or as an instrument of deliberate, articulate influence?
Thank you for sharing your time with us tonight. Keep refining your cadence, keep shadowing these key structures, and join us again for our next late-night exploration of the English language.
Good night and pleasant dreams.